for that. First to China and to concerns of an economic slowdown. Marcus.
Yes, indeed. Fresh figures suggest that growth in the world's second biggest economy is stuttering. China's Prime Minister has conceded that there are severe challenges ahead as well. Speaking in Beijing earlier, Li Keqiang said he's more worried about jobs than hitting growth targets. Delana D'Souza has more.
Favouring jobs over economic growth, China's premier indicated Beijing would tolerate falling below the 7.5% GDP target for 2014. The government wants to create 10 million jobs this year, and it says the economy must achieve a growth rate of 7.2%, indicating China's economy would only be allowed to slip so far.
We will not pursue GDP growth above anything else. The GDP growth we want should benefit the people, help increase the quality and efficiency of economic development, and contribute to energy conservation and environmental protection.
China's economy is seen to have had a relatively rough start to the year. Newly released data shows investment, industrial production and retail sales grew at a slower pace for the first 2 months of 2014, raising concerns that the world's fastest growing economy is in risk of slowing. Some analysts believe that without the necessary stimulus measures by the government, it will not achieve its growth target. However, its recent actions indicate it plans on taking a step back. Last week, the government refrained from rescuing the struggling solar company Chari from making a payment on its debt, a move signalling further defaults would be allowed.
Chinese slowdown have weighed on stocks all week. From a global perspective, in the United States, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down for a fourth consecutive session on a Thursday. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 also took a hit. It was a similar picture in Europe at the close. Slowing growth prospects in China were very much in focus during trading, and the Frankfurt DAX ended 1.9% down. Also worrying investors here in Europe, the situation in Ukraine, and investors there really watching this standoff between the West and Russia very, very closely. If we look at some of the latest developments, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has turned up the heat on Russia. Speaking in the German parliament, she said that Russia would pay a heavy price unless the Kremlin agrees to talks over Crimea's future. Merkel said EU leaders are prepared to freeze bank accounts held by Russians abroad and also impose travel restrictions. Meanwhile, Austria has arrested a Ukrainian oligarch with links to Russia. Dmytro Firtash is one of Ukraine's richest men, and he owns gas, media and banking businesses. Austrian police acted on an arrest warrant issued in the United States. The oligarch's group calls it a misunderstanding, and it says there's no link to the wider diplomatic context. Some analysts say, though, it's an American signal that the net is tightening around Russian interests. We're going to turn to the Eurozone next. The European Commission has told Italy to stick to its budget commitments. The warning comes after Italy's Prime Minister announced sweeping tax and spending cuts on Wednesday. Matteo Renzi wants to reduce income and business taxes to boost the Italian economy, but the Commission says Italy has high debts and needs to focus on balancing the budget.
Italy is in the preventive arm of the Stability and Growth Pact, which means that it is required to focus on achieving its medium-term objective of a balanced budget in structural terms, and linked to this to respecting the debt rule.
A few more stories to tell you about before we leave you. The bidding war over the French mobile network operator SFR is heating up. There are two suitors and both have sweetened their bids. French newspapers say Altice has raised its cash offer from 10.9 to 11.7 billion euros. Altice is the majority owner of cable company MERKEL and wants it to join forces with SFR. The other suitor, Bouygues, has also raised its cash offer from 10.5 to 11.3 billion euros. The board of SFR's owner, Vivendi, will meet on Friday to review the different bids. 20 years after opening for business, Eurotunnel says it's finally satisfied with its financial situation. The operator of the tunnel underneath the English Channel has reported a net profit of 101 million euros for 2013. That's 3 times higher than in 2012. And if you've ever scrambled to find a charger to go with your mobile phone, this may offer some relief. The European Union has taken a step towards standardising phone chargers worldwide. The European Parliament voted for the move on Thursday. It's now up to the European Commission to decide what the universal charger will look like. The legislation is supposed to take effect in 3 years. OK, that is the business news for now. Back over to you, Mark.
That charger issue would solve so many problems in our office, Marcus, wouldn't it?
Absolutely no.